You must learn to love her, to lead her, and to elevate her if you truly want to win at the game of real estate, business, or life. And so, what does it mean to love her, right? It means to protect her. What? Protect her heart, protect her emotions, protect her feelings, protect her vision, protect and love every element of what it means, right, to help her to become the queen that God has called her to be. And so we as men, you know, we think we understand love. I thought I understood love. But as I shared in a previous episode, love is easy when it's easy. But true love is love when it's difficult. And so, in the same measure that we need grace and mercy to love, that is what our duty is in every regard. And so, if we want to win as kings, the next thing is we must lead her. So, what does leading her mean? It means we are to be her covering, her security blanket, right? Leading her means she wants to be led financially, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, but not in a forceful way. And so for me, I am such a man's man. I am such a leader. I'm understanding that it's actually really easy for me to be very delicate because as she has told me, you lead me strongly, but love me gently. And what I understand, because we are in the final stages of converting and closing the largest deal that we've ever closed, I won't go into the details now, is that in the last 30 to 60 days, it's been such a squeeze that I've unknowingly become more rugged than I need to be. Not towards her, but because I have the responsibility of closing out the deal. Now that I understand that, right, I have to take a step back, right, in leading her, which is the essence of protecting her in all of these regards, to say, despite the complexity of the deal, I need to take a step back, right? Why? Because just because the moment is difficult doesn't mean I can become impatient and not properly protect and lead her emotionally, mentally, spiritually, right? Because of the circumstance. But here's the thing. That's why we as men, as I've shared previous, have to always fall on God and seek change and transformation for ourselves and not others. And so why that is important is in winning, understanding that she needs love, which is protection from any and everything, understanding that she wants and needs to be at her deepest depth to be led financially, spiritually, emotionally, physically, is because you have to understand the way that God has wired a woman. Her primary focus, forever and always, for the last 200,000 years of mankind's evolution, is what? God entrusts a woman to have the greatest survival need. Why? Because her survival is the only thing that ensures her children's children's children. So what we have to understand as men is we're wired a certain way. They're wired a very different way, right? We, as men, only need very simple things. And yet, what a woman needs more than anything, and it's critical for us to understand this as a man if you want to thrive in life, is that understanding her nature of survival shouldn't be a source of frustration for you as a man. It is her duty to God and mankind to have that mentality. And so that leads me to my next thing. The third thing that she needs is she wants to be elevated. Why? elevation can really be understood with two concepts. Elevation meaning an abundance of resources. Why? So that she can be in her highest feminine nature to what? Love you, love the children, love the home, love God, love her friends, love her family. Because at the beginning and end of the day, we as men are called and created to be builders. We make things, we create things, we invent things. A woman, on the other hand, has been designed to be a nurturer, an incubator, meaning what you give to her, she is going to incubate, good or bad, to produce it in this generation and the generations that come. Both are equally important. The beautiful thing about a man and a woman is when scientists looked at brain mapping, it's the best way I can explain it for a man and woman, it forms an hourglass where a man thinks this way and a woman thinks this way. They are an equal and opposite proportion to each other. So what that means is we literally are each other's puzzle piece to complete a masterwork. And yet that means I have to understand God's plan and design for me. I have to understand the plan and design for her. Because when the intention of a thing is not known, as the late, great Dr. Miles Monroe used to say, if the intention of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. Meaning, if I don't understand the intention of how I'm invented, I'm going to abuse myself. And so how do we see that in men? Is instead of chasing purpose, what do most men do? They chase the box, if you get my point. That is not God's plan for man. That's foolish. That's dangerous. That leads to destruction. It never works. Never has, never going to. Why? Because your priority is on the wrong thing, right? Flip verse. If we're not careful within the confines of how we elevate, it causes all of these distractions, which is not beneficial. Why? Because as a man, in loving her, leading her, and elevating her, all of this is designed to do what? To help her fulfill purpose, to help the business fulfill purpose, to help the family fulfill purpose, to help the children fulfill purpose. And so we're both compatible with very different design and very different function, but that is what it takes to be great at real estate, business, success, or life. So as the founder of Developer Nation, as you'll notice, we talk equally about professional business at hand and the personal business of home and family, because both are critical and necessary to win. And so at Developer Nation, we are a community where we help to educate and equip you to do small and large scale real estate development, where we will then, in partnership, will work with you to connect you with our capital partners in order to get those projects funded so that we can jointly and as a community practicing group economics build generational wealth. But that begins with understanding who we are as men, the role that our wives and women play, as well as the generational knowledge that our children have to obtain in order to perpetually live out the purpose that God has called us to. And so what that means is, men, myself included, we all got to man up. We have to love our women. What? By protecting them in every arena. We have to lead them in every arena for maximum survival. We have to elevate her with resources. What? To protect the vision for permanent and perpetual generations to come. I'm Shaun J. Ford, real estate developer as well as author. I can't wait to meet you again in the next episode, because remember, all things work together for the good of those that love God and are called according to his purpose.